So, we're back for a second creepypasta. This time using the headset. It's got pretty lights in, so that's cool. And I do apologize. The last video I was only on this part of the screen. OBS had updated and it sort of cropped my webcam back to the original size, so I had to stretch it back across the screen. So, let's get into nighttime curiosity. Estimated reading time 5 minutes. Groggily, I check the clock beside my bed and grimace. It's 0021 already, which means only a maximum of 6.5 hours sleep for me. Now, great. I close my eyes tight and urge my mind to shut off, but it's as reluctant as always. My consciousness remains occupied with disconcerting thoughts. To try and subside my paranoid deliberations, I drag my funfair trophy towards me in a tight embrace. The now somewhat scraggly bear, easily the size of an older child, had been worn at the town's annual fair for me by my father 8 years ago. It had taken a tedious amount of winnings and crocodile tears on my behalf for him to keep trying. After a total investment of £12, the bear was mine, and I had kept it in my bed ever since. In troublesome nights, when I found myself consumed in nightmarish fantasies, the bear always brought some kind of comfort. It was always cold, which was somehow pleasing, within the warmth of the duvet end, despite the fact that its fur was now matted and unkempt. It was always cozy to cuddle with, even when I wasn't hugging it. The bear would sleep under the duvet beside me, and during the night I'd be able to feel its coldness beside me. I never felt alone in the bed, and now in the early hours of the morning I cling to it like a child. The familiarity of the odd, fairly unpleasant smell it has acquired over the years calms my frantic mind, and I feel myself slipping into sleep within minutes. He felt himself slipping into sleep, half asleep, half aware. I feel a movement beside me, a gentle tug on the duvet. It is enough to widen my eyes and quicken my heartbeat. I find my vision locked onto the wall opposite me. Suddenly, my heartbeat slows to a near stop as fear soars through every inch of my body. Two words can be read, albeit distorted and indistinct, but visible all the same. Don't look. Beneath the writing was a downwards pointing arrow, which indicated to the only one logical location. The sight of the grotesque scrawling sends a sharp shiver along the length of my spine as my brain feverishly searches for a rational explanation for what I am seeing. For many nights now it had happened, this exact situation. I would wake in the vacant darkness, and the only thing I would be able to see was the message that would never be there when the sun surfaced from the horizon. But I'm confident to say that on all of the occasions I was not asleep, it has happened frequently over the past few years. A strange feeling of movement from within the bed would pull me down from sleep, and then I'd see it. Each time a theoretical battle between curiosity and irrationality would transpire in my subconsciousness, and irrationality remained champion until tonight. Tonight I feel more compelled than ever. Just look, to just violently climb out from bed, fill the room with lights, and put my mind at ease. The knowledge that there is nothing under there would surely resolve my spirit of insomnia, and yet I am still reluctant. A typical childhood is spent fearing the endless forms of monsters that could be lying under your bed, concealed in the gloom, embracing the obscurity of the shadows. Such a fear becomes embedded in the darkest regions of the mind, and even now I daren't put my legs over the edge of the bed in case something wraps its cold, slender fingers around them. The distance from the bed to the light switch isn't long, but in that dark eternity would be an eternity. I'm going for it. Oh God, I'm out of my bed, and my legs are monster hand free. I pause to admire the fearlessness before taking small, quiet steps towards the wall. About 4 before the sound rivals the creak of the floor. The bed. The bed creaks, a subtle sound but audible enough to freeze me completely. The bed frame has long outlived its prime time, and so the bars underneath are weak, so weak that even the slightest movement can be heard. It creaks again, louder this time, as if weight was shifting from one position to another. Suddenly there's a scratching sound. Pointed nails against metal, slow, loud, and terrifying. I thought the bed was wood. Why would it sound like metal? I find sudden energy within me to move my feet once more. Big strides this time. Scratching sound does not subside. It is now accompanied by a raspy, deep breaths. Each inhale sounds like a struggle for air. The exhale is silent. As I near the wall, the volume increases and it seems to get closer. What appeared to have emanted from the bed now shadows me as I fumble in the eerie black for the light switch. Come on, I urge you. Adamant that I do not stand alone in this room. The uncomfortable feeling of being watched strikes me from all directions, and I cannot escape it. Something vindictive lurks, and it's waiting. My fingers finally locate the switch, and I press it without delay, spinning as I do to face the now lit room empty. The wall is barren, the bed unharmed. The outline of the bed beneath the duvet is apparent, but no concern. I sigh with both relief and frustration at my own imagination. Now I can settle this stupid situation and finally get some rest. The clock reads 2:49. I love the rhymes, by the way. It's like I'm reading the Grinch book. I move towards the bed with courage, now protected by the light, and drop down to my knees that I can see underneath it. There, at the far side of the floor, alone, partially concealed by the dark, is my bear. What a comforting sight. I quickly drop onto my belly and drag myself underneath. I grab the bear, I get it halfway underneath, when realization hits me like a ton of bricks. I was just about to say, wasn't the bear in the bed? If my bear is underneath the bed, then what is in it? At this point, the creaking restarts. I can feel the weight above me on the bed. I'm sorry for all the mess ups. An advert keeps flashing up as I'm reading, so it's keep putting us off. The horrifying sound moves from the right side of the bed to the left. Silence then falls upon the room. I can barely breathe. I see a shadow be cast beside me, round like a head. It's looking at me. Biting my lip, I turn my head so that I can see what I have been sharing my bed with every night. I see the monstrosity that I've wrapped my arms around so tightly for comfort in these times of fear, and it grins a satisfying grin with its grisly teeth hanging from the edge of the bed, with pure black eyes that lock onto mine. It whispers to me in an icy, malicious voice 4 simple words. You shouldn't have looked. And with that, it slithers from the bed and onto the ground, onto its hairy stomach. It crawls to me under the bed, and it feels this familiar coldness pressing against my body once more. It wraps its foul arms around my torso and presses its greasy lips against my ear and sneers, "Oh, how the tables have turned." And with that, I drifted into eternal sleep. Credit to Nightfall. Well done, Nightfall. That was so much better than The Hitchhiker. I actually enjoyed the story. Apart from the one thing, he said the bed was made of wood, but when the nails were scratching the bed, it made a metal sound. So, apart from that, absolutely fantastic. But here's a question. Now, watch the last video and watch this video and tell me which mic sounded better. Now, obviously, both have their advantages. The mic stand, it looks amazing in gold, but for some reason, every time I use it, I don't hear my voice strong enough. I mean, I have a strong voice, and it must be heard. So, yeah, tell me what audio is better. I'm not asking you to tell me if the Hitch Out was Baker, if the Hitch Out was better, or the what was this one called? Scroll back up. Or if Nighttime Curiosity was better. We all know Nighttime Curiosity was 100 times better. But yeah, tell me what sound is better. Mr. Superfan signing out. Please like, sub, comment. Bye.